So we'll be juggling a little bit tonight between going through the basics of the game, checking where everyone stands regarding basic rules, jumping between this and how to manage the Foundry interface and character sheets in there. If we have time, we probably won't have enough time, but if we do, we'll do a little test combat to check the mechanic and how the interface works for us. And and of course we'll go through character background and character sheet creation. First thing we'll do after presentations, we'll talk about hereticultures, and we have to decide soon enough who plays what, but in a broad sense, not in detail. Just so you get you decide between the four of you who plays what, and then we'll do the game mechanic. We'll do the character sheet proper after creating the background, after asking questions regarding the background of the characters. Varun, did you have a little look at the comments I sent you? Did you have a read?
I've had to read about the initial starting classes or about the races. I'm still going through them, trying to find one I really like. Oh yeah. I'm looking at the other documents too about the rules and stuff.
Your sound is make an effort today, please, to speak on top of your mic, just to compensate a bit. I'll be annoying because I used to do music, and I kind of like I like sound, I like sound in music.
How about this? Is this a bit better now?
I think so. Yes. It's to do with that. This little thing, it doesn't pick your voice very well when it's not in front of your mouth. Alors, the French alors, it's gonna be sticky. Little presentations, guys. I invite you to just be short, be concise, be at your best, at your worst, be yourself. Me, I always, I'm the kind of transparent guy. I say things when I think them out. So if there is anything that you have to say it. To put a group together, to have a group running on the, for the long run is not something easy. It doesn't come always just out of nowhere. There is work, and to get to know each other, it takes a while. So it can take 2 sessions, can take 5 sessions before the group start to find its own kind of groove. We have to be patient with that, and trust that I made the right choices. So with that, let's have a little listen at Ethan, and who are you, and why are you here?
I'm, as you said, name's Ethan. We were talking a little bit. I'm from the States. My role-playing background mostly has to do with Dungeons and Dragons. And recently I've sort of been starting to spread out a little bit. I was playing the new Critical Role tabletop role-playing game, Candela Obscura. That just came out recently. And yeah, I think during our interview, or however you want to call it, I had said I just watched with my family all the Lord of the Rings movies, like the extended editions, as like a marathon, and they knew I played D&D, and so they're like, "Hey, we should do some sort of like Lord of the Rings themed one shot for D&D," and I was like, "Sure." And I went looking, and I found the One Ring, and yeah, so I'm basically here to learn the rules to it and get immersed in this kind of world, see how someone runs it. Yeah, that's pretty much my reasoning for being here.
Thank you. Awesome. Owen, let's go and take your most beautiful, purest accent, please.
Yeah, we were just talking about accents and and how you perceive your own accent, and I always thought I was just totally neutral with an accent, and then it's actually I was traveling and I heard my voice on the water. I said, "Gee, that sounds a little bit like an annoying Australian," and that's me. Oh, yeah. So yeah, hopefully it's not too strong or annoying. Yeah, I find
No,
Australians annoying a little bit.
it's lovely.
But,
It's lovely.
excellent. Yeah. No, well, I do like the fact that a lot of the filming of Lord of the Rings and stuff has come from New Zealand. It makes New Zealand a little bit of a semi Middle Earth. Yeah. So as I went into detail a little bit with AD during the interview, which was a cool experience, and yeah, I'm like I was just saying before, I'm just having a look at the start play and the online role playing, but and my memories of role playing and was in the 80s as a teenager. Yeah, so that reveals my age a bit. So yeah, I was right into it, and I played a game called Middle Earth Role Playing, which is kind of around Roll Master and stuff. And got into that. But D&D as well was there as well. So and a few other games. Yeah, really did get into the role playing at that stage, and then moved on, done a lot of things. And yeah, I haven't experienced the One Ring, so it's been great to have a look through the rules and stuff. It looks like it really does. It really does work well with what I think Tolkien was trying to do, and a lot of the traveling, the whole experience of living in Middle Earth, or being in Middle Earth, journeying in Middle Earth, and the shadow, and yes, there's a lot there for the GM and so on to work with and everything. So yeah, looking forward to it, and yeah, thanks for having me. And, yeah, looking forward to working with you guys. I'm going to bring a respectful attitude. I want everybody to have a good experience, including myself.
Sure. We'll take care of you. Everyone. We'll take care of each and everyone. Thank you. Varun, how about you? Who are you, and what are you looking for with the group?
Hey everyone, I am Varun. I've been DMing for about 1.5 years, so still relatively new to VTTs in general. And usually I play 5e D&D, and I'm hoping to try out new systems, Call of Cthulhu, Lord of the Rings as well, the One Ring. And yeah, I just want to have fun, doing some new French mechanics, games, and also really get into the story. Because usually in D&D it's just go fight a monster, finish the quest, that's it. Then I feel like One Ring go for something a bit more detailed, more rich. And yeah, as a result, I feel like I just want to dip my toe in, do One Ring and see what comes out of it. Also pretty laid back, respectful, and yeah, I'm looking to learn and have fun.
Nice, lovely. Thank you. I see you just dropped a Foundry, Baron.
I jump back in.
All right. Thank you. That was lovely. Me, I'm the GM. Okay, that's all you need to know. We know each other. We had a good time during the interview. Yeah, all of us. Okay, let's jump right in. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about heroic cultures. Yeah, we can. You play a class. Yeah, you play either a warden, a treasure hunter, a champion, and things like that in this game. But what's really important, the most defining factor when you create your character is to pick its culture. Where is he from, or she from? I've picked there are how many are they? 5 or 6 cultures in the core rule book. And they've added the cultures of the Wilderland part of the map, which correspond to the elves of woodland, the Beornings, and the woodmen. Yeah. And to top it up, I made accessible another race, another culture, which is the Men of Rohan. I specifically, I didn't have this culture open for group 1, but with you, I wanna see if one of you wanna play a Man of Rohan. Who has questions of any order regarding cultures? Do we have the list of cultures in mind or before our eyes? You can go, if you don't have the PDF before you, it's always available in the journal of Foundry, journal tab, tables on aids. And there you have the core rule book. You have a series of core rule tables. And you have the cultures. And there is the high elves of Rivendell as well added to it. Yeah, in the table on aids and cultures, you have all the cultures. I forgot to include the Rohan one. Do you guys have the document of the Men of Rohan with you? I packed that in the compressed folder that I sent you.
Yeah, I got that.
It's a homebrew. It's homebrew material, so it's fun made and inspired from first edition. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now, so core book culture. We have bardings. They come. They're the people of Bard, of King Bard, who recently set up a new kingdom after the defeat of Smoke the Dragon. And there the town of Dale was rebuilt, and he moved in. I think he's from Esgaroth, huh? I think he's from the Lake Town himself. I'm not exactly sure where Mr. Bard is from. So they're from Rovanion, yeah. Near the Lonely Mountain, Dale, Esgaroth. They live near Erebor, which is the kingdom under the mountain, recently put back together after the defeat of Smoke again by the dwarves. And King Dane at the moment. So that's the dwarves of Durin's folk. Then we have the elves of Lindon, so we're back on the map Eriador, and Lindon is all the way to the west. It's the westernmost biggest city to the west of the Shire. It is mostly a bunch of Sindarin elves, so elves that have never set foot in the land of the gods in Valinor. Some of them are descendant of the Falathrim that used to live in the First Age on the coast of Beleriand. So they love the sea, they love the god Ulmo. They're great mariners, and they build ships that fly to, because the Earth is round, and the ships they go straight into space to the land of Aman. So most of the Elves of Lindon are Sindar. Don't think there's many of them that are actual Noldor, and I don't think there's that many Noldor. Although they were pardoned. Are you familiar, Varun, with the difference between the Sindar and the Noldor?
No, I'm not.
Okay, there was two kinds of elves. The Morikendi and Kalakendi, and can't remember now which one. Kendi is an elf in Elven language, and they are the elves who the elves were invited to leave Middle Earth and to stay with the gods on their island in Valinor. And some of them on the way during this first exile before the First Age, they never made it to Valinor. And they stayed in Middle Earth always. The others did the trip. They went to the island of the gods on a sailing island. A god took them on an island, Tol Eressëra, and made it float and sail to the land of the gods. They landed there, but a bunch of them, the Noldor, didn't really, for many reasons, they made a comeback to Middle Earth, and that's them. So it's the elves who the original actually saw the land of the gods and came back. And their descendants, most of them are actually mingled with the Sindar. So I don't think there is many more pure Noldors around. So Elf of Lindons, that was for that. Then we have the Hobbits of the Shire. Originally, the Hobbits, they come from the Vale of Anduin and east of the Misty Mountains. And somewhere during the second age, somewhere during the Second Age, they moved about, and in the Third Age they were given the Shire as was it? I think the Kingdom of Arnor was done. I think they were given this region by some Arthedain king. I'm not 100% sure. So they live in the Shire. There is about 60,000 of them, packed in a big green country. We know the Shire. And they're pretty oblivious about anything but the Shire. The Men of Bree, an interesting bunch of people. They are not actual descendant of the tall men of the West. There is actually two kind of men. I don't know if you're aware of that as well, Varun. There are the middlemen and the Dunedain. The Dunedain were a bunch of stronger men. They mingled a lot with. They have a lot of elven blood into them, and they were given an island, Númenor. They lost it, and they came back to Middle Earth, and became the kings there. But their kingdom became kingdoms, and they were defeated and divided. And they finally disappeared and became the Rangers of the North. They became, Aragorn is one of them. But the Men of Bree never actually, they always were in Middle Earth and they stayed there. And they're the middle people. They are called the middlemen. And they're very just middle of the line kind of people, very superstitious, afraid of the unknown. And with long traditions too, but their domains, their territory was totally ravaged during the last war of Angmar with the Witch King in the north. which happened 990 years ago. And Brie is one of the biggest settlements left in what used to be Arnor, in Eriador, in this part of the map, northwest of the map. And there are a few settlements. It's pretty much a post-apocalyptic setting where there is a few big settlements and cities. Very few, actually. There is only one remaining. It's the Grey Havens of the Elves of Lindon. But now, next we have Tharbad, which is a big city in the southeast of this corner of the map, which was ravaged during the great floods and stuff, though it's mostly in ruin as well. And the men of Brie are exemplary of those that survived great floods, fell winters, never-ending wars. So they're a tough bunch, creative people. Rangers of the North, they are there's about 5,000 rangers, including their family members and all that. So it's the remainder of what used to be people of conquerors, of bards, of educated people, elf friends. And they had a capital city in Anuminas, center north to the Shire, which was abandoned for Fornost, and Fornost fell in 1975, so 990 years ago. And the kings then decided to hide, and they just let go of everything and went on a life of wandering and just protecting things from the shadow. So they are the Rangers of the North. Typical of Aragorn is your typical kind of ranger. He's actually the king of Dunedain. High Elves of Rivendell. A mixed bunch of Noldor, Sindar, half elves as well. Elrond is a half elf who has chosen immortality, but he's just a half elf nevertheless. He's of the family. He's actually the brother of the first king of the Dunedain, so he's close tied with Aragorn. His brother Elros was the first king of Númenor. He's the son of Erendil, the greatest hero of all time. High Elves of Rivendell. They live. You know Rivendell. Everyone is okay with Rivendell. Then from Wilderland, we have. What do we have here? We have the Beornings. Originally part of they were. Let's start with the Woodmen of Wilderland. Woodmen of Wilderland. They're the same. They have the same roots from far ago. From a long time ago, the same roots as the men of Brie. They are the middle men. They never saw Númenor. They never saw Valinor. They lived in the woods forever, and a bunch of hardy people living in the forest, in harmony with the environment. I very much associate them with hippies. I don't know why, but somehow I think they have this kind of respect for nature. They're as hardy and as they are spiritual in a way. I think they believe in different lesser gods and things like that. And they live in on the eastern portion of the map in Rovanion. They base more or less in the in this central part of the map. They live on the eaves of the Mirkwood. And some of them, after the defeat, the woodmen had much bother, much problems with Sauron for a good while, for 1,000 years or so. I can't remember exactly the duration, but he lived in Dol Guldur, which used to be an elf settlement at the very start, the first settlement of the wood elves before they moved. They abandoned Dol Guldur, and Sauron took over, moved in. So that was a pain for the woodman. But then Smoke was defeated, and things were starting to get a bit better. So they're kind of like in mid. They're very wary people. But some of them, after the defeat of Smoke, decided to join the ranks of Beorn, the guy who actually killed the Goblin King at the time. I don't have his name handy right now. What's his name? Forgot the name of the king of the orcs killed by Beorn. Anyway, some of the woodmen decided to join Beorn, and so the woodmen, they very much work like they have their clan, their family. It's a tribal system. Same with Beorn. So a chieftain is not a president, is not a king. It's just a chieftain. So he is someone who will be consulted, But people are free to do what they want, and he needs to be clever, loving. He needs to be the real thing, not just like a king who inherit, The chieftain is a tricky profession. Then we had the men of Dale. But the woodland, the elves of Mirkwood. Those are definitely, they're a mixed bunch of Sindar and green elves. So green elves, they're the ones who really actually. I'm mistaken. Green elves, they passed the Misty Mountains. Can't remember their name. Well, they're from the first elves, because the first elves actually came from a lake, Cuivienen, far in the east, and those who never even crossed the Misty Mountains stopped in Mirkwood. It wasn't so murky at the time, and then when some Noldor and Sindar came back and merged with them, there were two kingdoms there created, one in Lorien in the south, and we don't play this culture for now. And the other kingdom was the kingdom of Thranduil. His father actually set it up in the northern part of the forest. So wood elf, basically Legolas, just agile, cunning, funny at times, secretive, deadly, And finally, Rohan. So Rohan is a bit off the map. I'm still looking for a good player map. It's at the bottom of the Misty Mountains. The Rohirrim, the master of the horses, are actually a bunch coming from the north vale of the river Anduin. Originally, they came from the east. They came with their horses, and they always enjoyed their life as horsemen. They helped the Kingdom of Gondor for critical points in the history of Gondor, and they were granted some land in the Vales south of Isengard, between the Kingdom of Arnor and Gondor. And there they settled down, and they had to make room for themselves. They kicked out the Dunlendings, who were a bunch of hardy people, the tribal people as well, quite fighty and on profile Dunlending, classic invader kind of raider style. So Rohan, always kind of clashing with the Dunlandings. An interesting bunch as well. So that's it pretty much for the culture. Now, your turn, guys. Talk between yourselves about your desires and make it work.
I was actually kind of tempted to roll. I don't know if you're cool with that, DM or GM. Sorry, used to D&D. Under the six that come with like the core rule book. So the Bardings, Dwarves, Elves of Linden, Hobbits, Men of Bree, and Rangers. Just rolling the success die or whatever it's called. I don't know if anyone's cool with that, but I thought I might just do that, as long as it doesn't like overlap with someone else's what they wanted to do.
Okay. Bon, alors we'll have you roll after we know what the other wants, because then if you roll the same thing, you can talk if you want to keep having two characters from the same culture, or if you want to reroll. Owen.
Yeah, okay. I was ready to be a bit flexible around what other people were doing as well, to have a good mix in the group possibly. But what probably my preference was to be an elf of Mirkwood, or possibly a Dunedain. I think if I just go with that for now, and if we're a bit overlapped or anything, or I think there's a lot of things to consider in kind of how we engage with the cultures that we move through, and it'll be nice to have a mix, because that'll allow us to they can front up to the different cultures. Some people are distrusted in certain areas and so on. But I mean, I've heard of groups of all hobbits and so on, and that's also a fun option too. But
It's gonna be a major factor in determining the general mood of the campaign. Yeah. If you all play hobbits, of course there will be another. It's another perspective on the world. If you come from the three opposite edges of the map, of course it's gonna be about strangers and it's gonna be a different atmosphere, and I encourage you to go with whatever, just what fills your heart with content. I just want to tell you that you're gonna go around, you're gonna move. The map is big, and you we'll make the best of it. Varun.
I'd like to go with a hobbit. I'm rather new to Lord of the Rings, so it feels like I think the coolest hobbit that needs a bit of guidance and not too clumsy, but I'm planning to play a hobbit who's inquisitive, who's curious, and really wants to stretch his horizons in exploring or meeting other people and races.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sounds fun, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. You're that's a clever choice. I think I would, if I was to play in a campaign, I would play a hobbit. Just because they're so fun, and it will fit you as a player, because that will you can ask them questions that your character and you don't know, so that will just work well. I think you're making the right choice. There are two kinds of hobbits though. There are the hobbits from the Shire. So they live in the hobbit halls, or they have little town, like hobbit style mini houses. And they're from the Shire anyway. But there are the hobbits that live in Bree with the tall people. and they have small houses. They can have smiles there as well. Smile is the name of a hobbit hole. They live in Bree, in the hill of Bree, and they're more worldly is a big name, but proportionally, they're kind of more open to news from afar. Yeah, let's say. So they're more they're less afraid than of strangers. They're a bit more knowledgeable regarding the overall history of humans, men's, but I think I see you kind of well fitting in like the deepest of the deepest smile somewhere in the Shire, like a pure hobbit. But what do you think?
I'd go with that, to be honest. Somewhere from the Shire rather than Bree would be perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. We'll go into more details about what part of the Shire and all that. Let me pull out the map. The Shire somewhere out there. Yeah. You see, the Shire is available there. Map of the Shire. It's a new scene. I pulled up there, inviting you there. Yeah. The Shire. It's a big little country. You know what I mean? There is much to it, and there are cultures within the culture. Yeah. It's not a unified bunch. We'll delve into that a little bit. I'm not super super Hobbit expert. I know the broad lines between the difference between the north, the west, and the south, and the east Farding and Buckland. Yeah, so we'll go into that in a little while. Go ahead, Ethan. Roll.
Does this have the same just command capabilities? Let me check.
Oh, okay, a 2. So that
was the dwarves. So that's great because you know how they say flip a coin, and when you can't decide, you'll sort of figure out what you actually wanted when you flip it. Yeah, I didn't want the dwarves, so that was kind of the one of the 6 that I'm like, I don't really want to be a dwarf.
Okay, reroll then. I mean,
sure. Or I'll just pick, because if you were gonna pick an elf of Mirkwood or ranger, you said, Owen.
Yeah.
Those were sort of the ones I'd focused on, but yeah, I'm pretty flexible. Yeah. Roll another one. I'm liking the rolling. Roll another one and see what happens.
Okay.
Go ahead. I need a minute. Go ahead, guys.
Okay.
1. Is that Hobbit?
Which one is that? I think that's the Bardings, which I can't remember what their deal was.
Bardings. So they're the guys from the lake town generally. From the Hobbit. Yeah, so there's Bard who shot the dragon, and they're noble guys, and they deal with the dwarves of the mountain and stuff. But it's what's interesting here is that we're getting with the Hobbit from the Shire, but definitely, I'm sure the GM will just be able to put a story together. But that's a they're kind of
a good one.
A man, yeah.
Yeah, they're a guy, just a guy from a village.
Yeah, they're quite a noble sort of people. Yeah, and interestingly, they live on that lake. Generally, they live in that lake town. Yeah, and quite close to
Estra?
if I'm the elf
Dale.
of Mirkwood, we're sort of have that connection with those barrels, you know.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I think I'll go with that. The barding sounds cool to me.
Ah, interesting. So, and Owen, what would be the mix with that?
Oh yeah, I think I'll go with my sort of main choice, which was the elf of Mirkwood, and there's a connection there maybe with the barding, and somehow we meet the Hobbit. Yeah, if you think that's manageable, 80.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's definitely anything. You know, the weirdest, the cocktail, no, it's fine. You two come from one side of the map. Arun comes from the other side. That's fine. It will have now to. So you need to know that I'm not exactly sure yet where will this campaign start exactly. It will start in Area Door, for sure. More or less. I'm pondering. I don't know yet if it's going to start in Tarbad or Bree. But somewhere around there. Let's say Bree to make it. Yeah, let's say Bree. I'm deciding that right now. So during at the end of the character background, the creation will find a reason for you. Maybe not. Maybe I'm gonna think about that during the Christmas break, and I'll stay in touch with you. No need to go too far into why you would need to find yourself somewhere else than you were grown up and all that. So it's cool. Barding, I like it. For me, it's exotic because I've never. It's a culture that intrigues me. And the elves of wood elves, I love them. It's very romantic, and it will fit you very well. You know the lore very well. An elf is knowledgeable, so that makes total sense. And a hobbit for Varun, so that's awesome. Okay, now
Very cool.
Yeah, awesome. And by the way, none of the player of the Seed of the Nameless have picked any of those cultures as well. So it's super cool. I have loads to learn with you as well about other aspects of the game and the setting. Yeah. Now let's go a bit into their stories. Yeah. Their families. Who were your parents? Your closest. Did you have brothers? Do you have sisters? I invite you to take notes, and that's definitely things I'm going to develop with during the campaign. So I invite you to have a little dream walk about what from what stock you are. You know, you're born. Ethan, what do you think? Let's go into the Rovanian map. It's a tough question. It's important to go through it. So,
for
you come from
was the idea.
Say again?
Sorry, family was sort of like the general.
For now, it's family.
Thing.
Yeah. Who was your dad? Merchant. A merchant. A knight. A soldier. A farmer. A hunter.
I sort of I like
healer.
the idea of being sort of like the underdog, the classic rags to riches story, essentially. Where maybe I'm not exactly poor starting off, but still like a farmer or something less profitable than like a merchant or like a noble. I think would be interesting.
Bardings are anyway standard of living is prosperous. So, but that doesn't mean that we can still imagine that you had some you had just the bare minimum, but possibly this bare minimum in Dale or Esgaroth or in these regions, this bare minimum is a lot compared to someone else, So a farmer, son of a farmer. Your mother then was a farmer too, I imagine.
Yeah.
And so Smaug was killed in 41 and it's 65 now. So Smaug was killed 24 years ago. How old are you? How old are you?
It's funny. I think it'd be very funny if it was, not to get too deep into this, but if he was 23, so essentially there was a bit of a celebration when Smaug was killed between his parents, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that would be, I think that's an interesting way to do it. So yeah, 23. I think he was fairly young.
Siblings?
I would say he would probably have one younger brother.
Okay. How young?
I'd say he just turned 18. Let's do that.
Love it. Okay. Farmers. What kind? Where is the farm?
Well, this
Near
is kind of
Dale,
where I'd
near
ask.
Esgaroth, nearest Mirkwood, in the north. There are settlements all around, as far as you see. I think, you see that there are settlements all around.
Oh, interesting. I mean, if we wanted to lean into it, could definitely be something that's sort of closer to Mirkwood. If we wanted to lean into like me and Owen's characters sort of knowing each other, essentially.
Love it.
So
Somewhere midway.
Somewhere on the brink. Yeah.
Somewhere around here.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Oh, I love it. Ooh, I love it, and you don't know why, but I do. No, yes, it's already fitting so well. Okay, perfect. Owen. Parents.
Yes,
nobles, hunters, healers, lawmasters, mystics, soldiers, wild warriors, anarchists.
Actually, now that you mention it, anarchist, mystic. Yeah, so I'm sort of seeing my family as the woodfolk are reclusive people in the woods. Yeah, I'm thinking my parents are, particularly my mother, is more of a mystical person, sort of in tune with the spirit of the trees, of the forest, and my father has always been more of an outgoing, a scout, or someone who knows the edges of the forest, knows possibly the bardings, so has links with the peoples around, scouts south into the shadowy areas of the necromancer, fights the spiders and so on. And I've been brought up that way as a scout, so spending time with the patrolling the far edges of the forest, knowing the forest like the back of my hand, and also getting to know the having some connections with the bardings, with the dwarves of the mountain, and maybe even the Beornings on the other side, and also the woodman. So more of an outgoing wood elf than most, less reclusive possibly, and with that mystical edge. Yeah.
Nice. Siblings?
Yeah, I think I will have one sister. Yeah, one sister, possibly an older sister. Who I look to for knowledge and counsel, wisdom.
Okay.
Yeah, connection to
She's
my mother.
more.
As well.
Yes. Okay. She's more into the mystical side.
Yeah, whereas I followed my father more with just the protecting of the wood and knowing the surroundings and the scouting sort of concept.
Caravan passing and stuff, protecting travelers, protecting the borders as well. But the woodland realm is a pretty secretive place. They don't allow much inside. That's why they endure. Cool. Love it.
And it says here that most wood elves wouldn't think of being adventurers after at least a few hundred years of life. So, yeah, I'm in the hundreds.
How many?
I think let's go for let's just thinking back. So we're 2965, maybe around 250, 300. Let's go 300 years old.
Yeah. Let's go.
So a young elf.
Yeah, youngster. Love it.
Yeah.
Let's switch back to the map of the Shire. All right.
And I guess I'm sorry, and just I do have an interest in the outside world, learning of things. Some of the wood elves are quite reclusive, inward looking. I'm a little bit different, that I want to sort of learn of the outside world.
Sure. Don't worry, we'll go through those aspects in time.
Yeah, sure.
But good to know, of course. So we're back in the Shire. What kind of background were your parents from, do you think?
I have a couple of ideas, but first I have a random question. Whereabouts is the Bywater River on the map?
Bywater River runs down. It's there. It's coming from. It's this guy. This one.
Okay, so I imagine the ivy bush in a tavern would be somewhere around Hobbiton or Bywater over here.
Okay, Bywater is this little town here at the south of Hobbiton. The water runs down from Lake Evandim into the Branduin. The Bywater springs from the Binbale Woods. So they'd be coming from this little town of Bywater.
I was thinking from Frogmorton, which is right over here to the right.
Ah, right. Okay. So they're urban stock, yeah.
Pardon, what was that?
They'd be more of a urban kind of background.
I think so, living in hobbit holes I'd like to imagine this very much like a countryside place. So I'm thinking my character would stay with his aunt and his grandfather in Frogmorton. The aunt is a sheriff. She often goes on patrols down to Bywater, where there's a nice tavern called the Ivy Bush. And my character could be about late teens, early 20s as well, doesn't know what to do with his life. And
Okay.
he also has a married sister who lives in somewhere in either White Furrows or this part on the map here.
Cool.
Or maybe, yeah, and this married sister is a potter. She makes pots. She's married, living the good life over there.
Oh, cool. She's married to whom? To a woodman? To how do you call them? Timber. What do you call those loggers?
Like a lumberjack?
A lumberjack.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Would she be married to a lumberjack?
That would be about right. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So she could be like maybe they could either live in Stock or Woodhall.
Woodhall would be perfect.
Nice. Married to. What happened to your mother and father?
Last I heard, they're somewhere in Bree.
What? Okay. Mm-hmm. And how come you be separated from them?
I'd like to think they were traveling for something. Maybe they were performers or lore masters. And I was sent to Frogmorton to live with my aunt and grandfather, just perhaps out of convenience or perhaps for a reason I don't really know.
Okay. That's yeah, that's so rich. Parents live in Brie. And you said they were possibly lore masters?
Yep. I don't know if hobbits tend to be lore masters, but that could be interesting.
Yeah. In their own way, they can surely have a knack at least for things of lore. There's no issue about it. I'm still wondering why they would have you. But it's nice, possibly that you were not told and you were sent to live with your aunt and grandfather. What kind of man is he? Is he kind of the grumpy grandfather or the coolest friend you ever had?
A cool grandfather, a bit weird as well. He has a fascination for frogs in the swamp here in Frogmorton.
So awesome. Cool. Okay, that's very, very rich. Thank you, Varun. All right, let's go back to our young Man of Dale barding. Let's switch back to the Rovanian map. All right, so we're in this area. France. Let's talk France. 1, 2, possibly whatever, you know. Generally, what's your take on friendship, and have you got loads of friends? Have you lost them all? Have you a lover? You know.
The way I picture my character is the farmer's kid that has always wanted to leave the town, the little town he lives in. But he's like generally very or upbeat. So I think he's got a lot of friends, but none that are very close. In his he talks to a lot of people and knows about them. So he calls them his friends, but he may not know anything in depth or sort of hang out with them beyond the superficial is kind of the idea. So his take on friendship is anyone that lets him call anyone that he can call friend, he will. So I guess that's his idea, right? Is like they're talking to me and they haven't walked away yet, so they must be my friend, right?
He's 5 years older than his younger brother. How friendly are they together?
I think he treats his little brother. I think his little brother is more like. I'm going for very cliche group here, so it's like the younger brother definitely just wants to follow in the father's like footsteps and just be a farmer as well. So he's sort of, even though he's the younger brother, sort of scolds, my character for being too adventurous. Essentially, like you should just. This has been working for us. Obviously, you said like they're prosperous, right? So like this farmer business has been working for us. So why do anything else, right? Why change that? And so I think they get along generally, but there's sort of turmoil in that sense between the two of them.
Good. I like it. Awesome. All right. If you, by the way, if anyone has any question, if you have questions for each other, if you feel inspired or curious or intrigued by someone else's proposition, dig into it and bounce on it and ask questions. Possibly looking for ties, with in contrast with your own character. Cool. Owen, how about friendship? You're an elf. Friendship is something very sacred. It's not as casual as humans see it. I don't think so. If you make a friend that is not elf, that means something. And if you have an elf friend, it's like a soulmate, or it's like brother to brother. It's like serious stuff. Friendship for elves, I think, is a very noble thing.
Yeah, well, of the scouting parties, border guards, warden type of groups that go to the edges of the woods, those are my trusted companions, and I've lived a life of patrol and times in the woods with those that I care for. We sing together, and I have let me see. I do have one or two very intimate friends there, and also my sister's friends. Those have also I've been close to. Once again, we eat and sing and spend time together. But mostly my comradeship is in those long scouting parties, those long times journeying around the edges of the wood and through the wood, and friendship, as we protect each other and look after each other. Those the ones I trust. Slowly that trust builds and our understandings. I think I'm probably more friendly with the slightly more mystical, because I take that from my mother, the mystical side, the magical side. That interests me, and I like to see that open mind. And also, I like to talk to the elves that are interested in the outside. I find some of the more reclusive elves a little frustrating. And I'm sensing that a potential connection here with Ethan's character, as I am involved with the trade, the barrels, and the trading with for some foods, and possibly the elves. We give some goods, don't we, from the elven kingdom that also goes up to the dwarves. So there's a trade going on that river, and I've noticed possibly this young man who maybe I've watched from afar a little, with my keen eyes from the distance, and seen that he looks outside of his family and his farm, and I see potential there, maybe to journey to have a friend. I see that maybe he needs a protector, maybe, and also someone who can introduce him more to the world, the world of the woods and the so the potential there. I'm sensing maybe some kind of patron or something could possibly connect us more. I don't know. That's sort of how I'm feeling about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me as well. Yeah. Like that.
Yeah, I appreciate his open-minded characteristic and his kind attitude. Perhaps not getting on, not totally mingling with his own people, but the fact that he's looking outside and is open to things. I see potential there.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So that there are ways. How about dwarfs? Your relationship with dwarfs?
Yeah, I've found them at times greedy in their. So there's a little bit of a distrust, a distance in general. But once again, some of the younger dwarves that are more open to learning about elvish ways and things. So I'm very much businesslike with them in terms of the trade. They have great riches to offer, and our King Thranduil appreciates that trade, and that is the priority. But I generally I distrust in a way their goings on, and I would not give them our secrets.
Nice. Very inspired. Yeah, just on point. Hobbit man, back to the Shire. How about friends? How about friendship?
My character has a few friends. First one is a Took, who's only a friend with my character because my aunt is a sheriff. And then there's another hobbit who I consider my best friend. And I used to make fun of him whenever we meet at the Ivy Bush Tavern. But because this hobbit was so nice to me, now I consider him the best guy on planet Middle-earth.
You met him at the Ivy Bush Tavern?
Yep.
Where is that?
Somewhere over here.
Ah. Okay. And you met him at the tavern and became good friends, but you used to make fun of him before knowing him better.
Yeah, I thought he was a silly hobbit, and turns out pretty silly myself.
Uh-huh.
My character is also friends with my sister's husband, although it's more like a passive-aggressive sort of friendship.
Because your sister, yeah, you kind of protective about her or something possessive.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. You better be good with my sister, you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and he's good with her. You said they're living the good life, so
He's pretty good to her, and that sort of annoys me because there's no drama going on.
awesome. I need a hobbit in my life. That's brilliant. How do you generally value friendship?
I like to think everyone around me is a friend. The closest person to me is it's actually my cousin, a male cousin who lives in Frogmorton with me. He is a mason, and he wants to get me into the masonry business.
He's your best friend.
I consider him the closest to me.
I understand. Okay, and he lives in Frogmorton with you, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and he's the son of your aunt.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And my second cousin, this one is female. She really wants me to get married to a nice hobbit girl.
She's this Mason sister.
That's right, yeah.
She wants you to get married, so she's always looking for a new she brings you girls.
She actually knows about the girls, and there's 2 hobbit girls that I like. And it'll be a scandal if these 2 girls find out about each other.
Oh shit.
So my female cousin, she wants me to pick one and settle down with her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll dig into that somehow, sometime. We have to. Before the apocalypse. Okay. Let's go back. Let's go back to Rovanion. Thanks, Varun. Awesome content. So let's go into pastimes, hobbies, passions. What would you do if you could, if you had all the time in the world,
I think,
or just when you're bored, pastime, hobbies.
I think
to
they
get us-
often
yeah.
sort of not catch my character, but he is often found wandering outside of the town, just walking around, not in anywhere specific. But that's sort of his whole gist. Is I think he feels like slightly tied down by his family to do that, but he wants to see things. So his general hobby is just when he doesn't have to do farm work, just leaving the town in a new direction he can find. He's walked every direction now he can think of, but he can't go far. He can't leave, but or he hasn't left, I guess, until this story happens. But right, most of his life he would just pick a direction and start walking. I think he was generally told to not in like a don't trust them, but just generally told not to mess with Mirkwood in any way. So like not to get very close, just to not to piss off the elves, basically, right? Like you can go, you can see it, but just maybe not go in, is the idea. And I think that could be another. We talked about the connection. I think, you had talked about um, um, seeing my character often, and I think one of the things, and also that your family sort of respects the forest in its and nature in general. And I think what could be interesting is maybe your character sort of seeing mine approach the forest from a distance and just sometimes sit in awe, sometimes try and sketch what he's looking at. So that's another hobby, is drawing and sort of sketching it, so he sees that respect in a way of like he wants to go to the forest, but not for any other purpose other than to be in the forest or see the forest, right? So I think that could be another sort of connection there. But yeah, so like I said, the wandering is a big one. The drawing in terms of nature, which maybe looks a little strange because I'm picturing him as like, farmers are fairly strong folk, right? So like this big guy that's sitting there with his notebook, or sketchbook, whatever would be accurate, just drawing. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
you
about.
imagine him like a strong build, but sensitive and soft
Yeah,
inside. Mm.
yeah, like the gentle giant kind of thing, but still, but he's not an idiot, right? Like I don't want to like. So he's not stupid where he knows like he's not going to be nice to everyone because or he's not going to be nice to someone who's mean to him. He's not going to just let someone push him around, but he'll give people the benefit of doubt. So yeah, like sort of that gentle giant nature where he's a big guy, but not like not pushing people around with that weight. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I love it. Surprising. Yeah. Very.
Nice,
I like the dichotomy. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice role to play. It's good foundation.
Excited.
Owen, what about pastimes, hobbies?
Yes, so I think I really do enjoy communing with the forest, with the birds, the animals of the forest, learning of the lore of the forest, and also, yes, I do hit the books. I like to read about other the legends and so on that have been written, the knowledge we have of the other elves. Reading of the other peoples of the earth, so I like to spend time reading, but then I also like to come together with my other elves, the ones of a like mind, and sing our songs, and so there's a sort of a singing but communing with the animals, the animals of the forest, and knowing the trees, communicating if I can with the spirituality of the forest. Very into the whole forest realm, just communing with it, but then also reading of the ones that have gone out and experienced the world, and taking what I can, listening to the elders that are a little, as far as I'm concerned, a little more open-minded, and learning what I can of the dwarves and the bardings and the men and the beornings, the surrounding. So I think I'm really just, I have a thirst for knowledge, and then there's just that mystical thing that my mother has given me, which I probably won't get to her level with that, but it's there, and she shows me that, and my older sister. Yeah.
You're like a Renaissance kind of man, like curious about all things, knowing the music and the lore, versed in many aspects of life, but still a romantic. Yeah.
And a little troubled in general, because our people are waning to a degree. So yeah, that burden is there. But what can I learn from the others? What hopes is there hope in going forth, or is our real fate just to dwindle within the forest?
What about Aman?
Well, our way of life has always been to stay here, to be within this forest that is ours. So the idea of Aemon and the noble elves and that is more of a that's a huge step to consider that journey. Although there's an inkling there that in some ways I would like to step out of this world that we have hidden in for so long.
Was if well, there is the marring of Arda, Varun. The marring of Arda is when basically the god of shadow, the god of death, the god of chaos, Morgoth, the first son of God, the first god, the first god of the son of the overlord of all, the son of Eru, the first creation, became jealous of the second one coming, who was better made, because the first guy is always like a kind of an experiment, and the second brother is always, more cherished. So he became jealous of him, and he turned the god of chaos. And then he spoiled the creation of his father. He spoiled Middle Earth, and started to corrupt it. And so it became a burden for the elves to stay too long there, because their soul is very tied to. They cannot leave Middle Earth. When men die, their soul exits this world and goes somewhere else. My guess is on Earth. And the elves, they stay in Arda. But men, they travel somewhere out of this middle of the world. But elves, if they stay too long on Middle Earth, they begin to fade. And to avoid that, they have to go to the land, to Valinor, to Aman. But some elves never will go because they love Middle Earth so much. They, like the elves of Mirkwood, they're very tied to the land. And an elf has such a strong soul, spirit, that if me as a GM, I like to play it that way, because that gives it's a cog to role play elves, kind of. If elves, because of their fiery spirit, because of the strength of their immortal spirit tied to a physical body, if they identify too strongly with their emotions, they will hasten their fading. They will hasten the curse, and not so much the curse, but this actual, it's kind of the curse of Morgoth on all creation. So that's why I think elves need to be careful if they want to stay longer in Middle Earth without fading. They need to be a bit more distant with their emotions. They need to be a bit more, in control. So I think that's why elves they behave just like we see them behaving. They're sort of inhuman in a way, They don't let they're not so transparent. They don't let go. They're very much in control, because if they don't, I think that hastens, that accelerates this fading process. So that's why I was asking the question to Owen. What does he think? What does he think of going to Aman? Because the elves of Mirkwood are reputed to loads. There are loads of elves in the forest that are nearly transparent. They lost all physicality nearly. It's not so much, something like that, and they're not undead, they're not spirits, but gnarly, you know. So yeah, the best way for an elf, in fact, I think the best way to end is to lose your physical body, to die for good, and then your souls fly straight to the halls of Mandos in Valinor, and you're sorted, and then you can spend your holidays. But if you have to wait, and see yourself fading, it's tough. But it takes a while, huh? It takes a while. Okay. Awesome. An instrument, a musical instrument, Owen?
Yeah, let's go with a flute.
A flute. Straight or transverse?
Let's go with the transverse flute.
Nice. Okay. All right, let's go back to the Shire. Awesome, guys. We'll get there. We'll take a little break in after this turn, after Baron's turn, and we'll go. We're getting closer to the character sheet. Don't worry. But there's still some things to figure out to help us. To help me mostly getting prepared during this coming month. Pastime, hobbies, Hobbit?
I really enjoy cooking and eating.
No way.
Also,
Do you prefer cooking or eating? Which one?
I prefer cooking.
Devil. Okay.
I also like socializing and going to the Ivy Bush Tavern in the middle of the day.
Why do you come up with those details? Just cracking. Socializing and go. So you drink the real stuff?
Fantastic beer.
Okay.
And following that, I go and sleep out in the fields to look at the stars at night.
Oh my god. Okay.
My other hobby is fishing in the swamps nearby. And if I can't catch anything, I will travel upwards to the bywater to do fishing there with my Took hobbit friend.
Mm-hmm.
And another hobby is occasionally going on these patrols with my aunt, who's a sheriff.
Oh. Could that be a reason your parents dropped you at hers to make you tougher or so something? Surely they have a big secret. I'm getting inspired. I don't know what it's gonna be about, but there will be a trigger point in the adventure for sure. They will. This mystery of your parents being away in breeds not far, but still that would trigger something. And yeah. And she's this aunt. She's the sister of your dad or your mother?
Of my dad.
Okay.
So the grandfather is also on my dad's side.
Okay. Class. I love it. Very on point. Super hobbity. No complaints there. Okay. We'll take a short. Yeah.
One more thing. So during these tavern visits, sometimes there's performances, singing, and whatnot. So my character likes to take pieces of kitchen cutlery and sort of smack it on kitchenware or tables to make noise, as he's learning to play this instrument called the drum, which is a drum, kind of. So he's learning to play that in the most non-direct way possible.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, because would he be shy to pick it up and learn along the musician troops there, or what? Is he playing in secret in the woods, or?
He can play it quite well, and he just needs a good drum, which a good drum might be a bit costly, or not easily acquired, I like to think. So he wants to find a really good wood drum to play.
Oh la la! I love it. You see, guys, we spent an hour and a half. Right? It's a decent amount of time to be, and we just scratched the surface, and we're already full of treasures. I mean, each of you is coming up with and very different pieces of material. It's gonna be great. Let's take a little break, and we'll go into distinctive features. So that will be 2. You'll have to pick 2 from the list of your heroic culture. Distinctive features for the bardings. You can pick between bold, eager. You pick 2, yeah. Either bold, eager, fair, fierce, generous, proud, tall, willful.
I definitely think eager. Does it mean tall in the literal sense? Like
Yes.
they're just a tall person? Okay. Yeah, let's do eager and tall.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Done deal. Elves of Mirkwood.
Yeah, I will go with keen-eyed and swift.
Perfect. Makes sense. You had cunning, fair, fierce as well. Proud,
Tempting.
secretive, keen-eyed, and swift. Those things are malleable. They can change. You can switch from one to the other, depending on where your character is headed. If you see that there's a reason for you to swap for something of your invention or something coming from the list again, that's not a worry. Okay, keen-eyed and swift it is. Hobbits. Eager, fair-spoken, faithful, honorable, inquisitive, keen-eyed, merry, rustic.
I'll go with inquisitive and faithful.
Faithful. Nice. And inquisitive. Okay. Alors, it's time to pull out the character sheets. You see in the tab under the tab Actors, Fellowship and PCs. PCs. You have a character sheet dedicated to you with your name on it. You click on. You own your. Varun is still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You're
My
here. Okay.
phone down.
Okay. So it's time to. You open this character sheet, and those. Where do they go? Virtues, distinctive
Sorry.
features. Yeah.
Sorry, Edie. What is it up here in the top right-hand corner? One of these options at the top to get into your character
Yeah.
sheet.
You open the actors tab.
Yes.
In there you have the Fellowship and PCs folder. You open that, and in there is the PCs folder, and in there you have Owen,
Great.
and that's your
Thank you.
character sheet. And your distinctive features are under items. That's yet another tab near actors. In items, you go into open the characteristics folder, under which you will find the distinctive features folder and the commands folder. And you drag and drop your distinctive feature in there.
Characteristics, distinctive features.
And commands, the first folder.
Yes.
And you drop that onto your character sheet wherever it will slot it in the right section.
Nice. The keen-eyed and swift.
Very good. Now we'll go. We are 2 hours in. It's gonna be a long session now, so we can expect it to last 4 hours. So we have 2 hours ahead of us. I would ask you, to tell me a bit more why those features and stuff. I think we don't need to right now. I think I want to kind of push forward. Just that gives you, a sense of, the temper, your attitude, your personality, just overall. Technically, for those who don't know, I think no one is really aware there. In the game, you can spend a point of hope, okay, to gain a bonus die to the roll. The idea in the game is to beat a target number, a TN. The target number depends on your attribute rating, and the target number is 20 minus your attribute. And then you have to beat that number with a D12 plus a number of dice equal to the skill used. If you have no skill points, then you roll only a D12. With the D12, you can achieve an automatic success when you roll a Rune of Gandalf, a 12. It's an automatic success. And an Eye of Sauron is count as a 0, and can even count as an automatic failure if you're considered miserable. Miserable is when your shadow points equal or are over your actual hope rating. So if you're not miserable, an Eye of Sauron is a 0. If you're miserable, an Eye of Sauron is an auto fail. With the spend of a point of hope, you gain an extra die in your roll. It's a big deal sometimes, and spending hope is the resource number one. It's something very precious. So wasting hope is bad. Spending hope the right way can be very good. But if you spend a point of hope, and you actually, we all agree that your distinctive features fits and helps in that sense that you're tall and you're trying to jump higher, or you're keen-eyed and you're looking through the fog for some kind of target. Then your distinctive features makes you inspired. And technically, when you're inspired, spending a point of hope gives you 2 bonus die instead of 1. So that's why you have 2 and only 2 distinctive features. And if you want to change, that's meaningful, because mechanically that has quite of an impact on your dice rolls. Right. There is an extra distinctive feature. No, it's not exactly a distinctive feature. We'll go to... yeah, there's an extra distinctive features which come with your calling. Your calling is your career, your your profession, whatever, your specialization. We'll go to that in the next the chapter after the next. But now let's go into cultural blessings. That's basically the special ability of each of the culture. So for the bardings, cultural blessing is stout-hearted, which means that your valor rolls are favored. That's an humongous. It's if my first group knew that even existed, they would be like on their knees begging to get this distinctive feature, cultural blessing. So that will be under because they were under a lot of pressure. I don't know if you watched the replays, but they were under a lot of pressure. So that's under items, characteristics, distinctive features. No. What is this? Distinctive feature commands. No. It's to be written straight directly on the sheet, and you wrote it already. You write it straight onto the character sheet. You type it yourself in the little box at the top of your character sheet between standard of living and valor. So stout-hearted for the. So we use valor. Valor and wisdom are 2 very important ratings. They correspond to your valor is courage, basically, and wisdom is just that, is wisdom. We use valor and wisdom to counter the effect of sorcery and dread, which are 2 things you can be under the influence of sorcery or dread, and then you roll what we call a shadow test. And if you fail this shadow, if you fight against dread, you roll valor, and if you fight against sorcery, you roll your wisdom. If you fail, you gain a certain amount of point of shadow. If you accumulate enough more points equal or more than your hope, you become miserable. If you accumulate up to your total amount of hope, you become a real total desperate failure. All your rolls are ill-favored, meaning a favored and an ill-favored roll is. There are 2 kinds of dice in this game: the feat die, the 12-sided die, and the success die, the 6-sided die. When a roll is the success die, the 6-sided die, you roll them as many as you have skill points. But you always roll a feat die, a 12-sided die on any roll. And this roll can be favored or ill-favored. If it's favored, you roll 2 12-sided die, and you pick the best. If it's ill-favored, you roll 2 12-sided dice, and you pick the worst. So if your shadow becomes equal or higher than your max hope, you're not only miserable, so Sauron Eye is an auto failure, but all your rolls are ill-favored. So having a high valor or wisdom, it's very important to counteract shadow. This is the core. This is really the spine of the game: shadow and hope, and countering shadow always creeping in on you. When you want to get rid of shadow, you can take a moment of rest in a haven during a fellowship phase, during adventure. Then you recover a certain amount of shadow. But when you reach your max hope in shadow, then you have to go through a bout of madness. It's you become mad. You do something bad. You get it out. You let go, and all this shadow you expel it, and it's very hard on everything around you and yourself. But that gets rid of all your shadow. You reset to 0 shadow, but you go 1 rank up on the shadow path, and there are 4 levels or 4 or 5 levels in the shadow path, and that leads to folly, basically. All sorts of craziness. So valor and wisdom are always at level 1 when you start. Valor. Every point in valor is a special effect on an item. That means that you have a reward. One of your item is of better quality. 2 points in valor means two rewards. 3 points, 3 rewards. So not only valor helps you to fight dread, but every time you gain a point in valor, you gain a special item, or you improve one of your item. And wisdom, to counter the effect of sorcery, every point in wisdom is a virtue. You have common virtues, just like you have common rewards available to every cultures. But there is a series of virtues per culture. And at level 2 wisdom, you can buy a special virtue from your specific culture. And those virtues, they are like they are talents, they are like abilities, they are like they can lean on the magical side, they can all sort of things. Right. So that was for the barding. Cultural blessing. Your valor rolls are favored. That's you can count on this guy to stay pure. That's weird. What's the stories tell that the barding lived under the shadow of a great dragon for decades. So yeah, you know what it's like to be close to the, to live a life under the stake of yeah, got it. I was looking for elves. Let me go back, close that.
It looks to be the folk of the dusk.
Right. Future blessing. Folk of the dusk. While fond of the sun, the elves of Mirkwood find themselves at greater ease under moonlight and starlight, or among the shadows of a forest. Their senses are keener, their burdens lighter, their movements exceedingly sure and graceful. When you are in a forest or at night, you can spend 1 point of hope to achieve a magical success on a skill roll. So a magical success is an auto success, meaning and magical at that. So it will just come as like something, obviously out of the ordinary. It will be really hard to hide a magical success as something casual. But on top of that, you have to roll. You still need to roll. A magical success means a normal success. technically. You still need to roll the dice to know the quality of the success. The quality of the success means that any 6 on your 6-sided die counts as an extra quality of success, an extra success. So if you roll, if you succeed at beating the TN, and on top of it you have a 6 in your pool, that's a great success. If you have 2 6s, or tengwa they call them, 2 6s, 2 extra 6s is extraordinary success. So even with a magical success, you still need to roll to know the quality of the result. Otherwise, it's just considered a natural kind of success. So very good, because forests, there's a lot on Middle Earth. Night, it's basically half of the time. And spending a point of hope to achieve an auto success. It's our Ariel, our elf of Lindon in the Seed of the Nameless, has used his ability. He can do it as well. As long as he's not miserable, he can achieve a success with a spend of 1 hope, a magical success. And he's used it a bit too much. And now he's miserable. And and elves of Lindon have a problem recovering from shadow as well. All right, and Hobbits of the Shire, cultural blessing, Hobbit sense. Your wisdom rolls are favored. Okay. So we have someone with valor favored and someone with wisdom favored. So you resist. I guess it's to do with innocence. I don't know what they're saying. Hobbits have learned their place in the world a long time ago, and they display a robust capacity for insight that many folks mistake for lack of courage. No visions or wild fantasies can tempt them, as they do not seek power or control over others. Your wisdom rolls are favored, and you gain 1 bonus die on all shadow tests made to resist the effect of greed. Wow. Okay. That's pretty good too. So greed, again, if some treasure or some, particularly treasures, you have three sources of shadow: dread, sorcery, and greed. 4 actually. You have misdeed as well. If you commit a misdeed, it's an auto. You can't resist a misdeed. If you decide to go willingly to do a misdeed, knowingly, you get the shadow points. There is no way around it. But greed, there are ways to to be, it's maybe for the greater good or whatever. You can find ways around greed. If a treasure is tainted and you go for it, then you have to roll for greed with rolling wisdom. And in that case, hobbits gain one bonus die, which is decent. Mostly all your wisdom rolls are favored, so you resist sorcery. Like very, very precious. Okay, let's go. Alors, I make an exception to a rule here. Is that now we go into callings. Yeah. So we have captain, champion, messenger. By the way, you have all that under your eyes. Yeah, you have the document. We're page 45, 44, 45, 46 of the core rule book. Captain, champion, messenger, scholar, treasure hunter, and warden. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each of these callings is tied to a shadow path. The shadow path is the dark side of your character. Yeah, that's where I want you to go now and double check. thingy. Shadow. Okay. Check page 140, please. Page 140 of the core book. You have a descriptive of the shadow path and where each bout of madness is taking you. There are 4 degrees of onto the shadow path. And my thinking is that I think first about what would be the dark side of your character. Which shadow path do you think he's on? From there, look at the associated calling. Do it that way. Don't pick the calling first. Pick the shadow path first, because it's gonna be a fucking burden during the campaign. It's gonna be very hard to get. That's what the shadow path needs to be what you want to play. It needs to be you want to be as a player. You want to be working on this aspect of the psyche. Yeah, you want to pick something that interests you as a human being. You as a person. What is this dark thing about humanity, about beings, about consciousness, about corruption? What is that? How do you want to deal with that? Pick the shadow path first. Then you look at the associated calling, back to page 45. And the exception to the rules there is I'm as a GM here in my game, I don't I make that a free choice. You pick your shadow path. If the associated calling is fine with you, you pick the calling. If you want another calling, you go for another calling. No restrictions there. We good?
Yeah.
Ethan?
So, the shadow path, I was thinking, and it was like super easy once I read it, is Wandering Madness. The one that, like, I guess the idea is that you, like, can't find a place to fight for. You can't find a place that feels like your true home, I guess is the idea. That's what I'm interpreting it as. And I was actually going to ask, because I was looking at Messenger, because that's what it's with the Wandering Madness. And I think I could spin it. I think maybe, because I was going to ask you, like, I feel like a lot of these don't really line up with who I've already said as my character. Like, you know, champion, captain, warden feel like too serious.
It's a calling, yeah. It's a calling. It's not a profession. It's inspiration. It's something, you know, it drives you. It's the opposite of the shadow path. You know?
I see.
It's what
I think
makes
I would just
you
do Messenger then.
Yeah. It's where you want to take the fight. Wandering Madness Messenger. So you go classic. I mean classic. You stick with the rules.
Yeah, I think that works well for my character.
Love it. Owen?
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm just trying to make sure I'm in the right place with these 145. I can see the start of it. Shadow paths succumbing to the shadow.
Page 140 for the shadow path. And page 45 for the callings.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just seeing the shadow path. I'm seeing succumb to the shadow, and then I seem to go through to flaws, but
just look at the table.
Is the table?
Yeah, okay. Just look at the table.
Okay. Yeah, there they are. Right. Okay.
And you see the names. Six path and the per degree of aggravation where they take you. Do you want at the end of the day, if you really fall low, the lowest of yourself, will you become murderous, thieving, tyrannical, traitorous, fearful? or cowardly. You know. So with the wandering madness, it will go from idle, forgetful, uncaring, and cowardly at the end. And trust me, I'm going to be tough, because I think that's what Tolkien was about. Yeah, it's shadow versus light, and you want to give yourself, you want to go in those spaces. Yeah. So I'm going to bombard you with shadow.
Oh, okay. Lure of secrets, traitorous, haughty.
Take your time, Varun.
I'm thinking of taking the scholar calling.
And the shadow.
The shadow part I'm not too sure about. I'm reading through it now, and I could use some suggestions.
What do you think he's most afraid of becoming? Look at the table on page 145, 140. Yeah, the shadow paths table. And look at the bottom number 4 rating. Look at the worst that could happen on each path.
I'm on page 140. I may be on the wrong book here. I'm on the core rules.
Yeah, of the core rule, page 140.
So the
140.
PDF might be page 140 in the actual book, but it'd be 144 on the PDF.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I see 4 options: spiteful, brutal, cruel, and murderous. Is that the right thing?
Yeah. That's it. That's one path. The curse of vengeance. If you look at the scholar, page in the callings, lure of secret is the default shadow path. Inquisitiveness and curiosity are desirable virtues in an individual, but knowledge can be put to malicious use, and learned individuals can look down on others as ignorant fools. Secrets are dangerous, as the very desire of uncovering them may corrupt the heart.
Yeah. Looking through this table, I feel like lure of secrets fits my character the most. And it kind of makes sense if my character's parents are lore masters as well.
Yeah. Therefore, and it's the default shadow path for scholars, so it's perfect. Love it. Okay. When are you sorted?
Yeah, I was looking at that one as well, the scholar and the lure of secrets, but I maybe to be different. The messenger with the wandering madness, but I'll just have a look at that back at that chart again. Look back through to 140. And then there's one that sort of goes with the elvish sort of. There was one there I thought that was talking about, wanting to escape to Aemon or Valinor. So we're at 144, sorry. Coming back to the other page. Okay, Wandering Madness. 45, Shadow Paths. So the secrets. Yeah.
I kind of see you as either you could be anything really. You could be a warden, an aspiring warden. The calling, it's not a profession again. It's a calling.
No.
It's where you want to take the fight. What you think you'd be good at and make a difference in the world. The way, because you can be a general of armies and have the warden calling. It's
Yeah. So the
I
shadow
guess it
path.
really
It was just
depends
what.
on, like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's your character.
No, you go. You go, Ethan.
Well, I was just thinking, like, because of what was said earlier. Like, what do you think is the lowest point your character could be? And like,
Mm.
I know you had mentioned earlier, sort of being scared about the dwindling elves. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And just looking at the shadow paths, like the first two I think of with that are either Curse of Vengeance or Path of Despair. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you sort of at the end, it's like fearful. You're like sort of afraid, like you were saying. I'm not an expert, but I thought I'd just sort of maybe try and help out a little bit.
Yeah,
Mm.
In some ways, they all kind of fit. I'm just reading them all because the succumbing to the
Right.
shadow is that one as well? Succumbing to the shadow. It doesn't seem to be on the shadow path table though.
Oh, is that just what happens when you fill out like
Or
your
is that
shadow path? I
is that
guess.
the overall?
Yes.
Oh, that's just overall about shadow paths, and then you have the
Succumbing
return
to
to.
the shadow is when you are at the end of the road. Yeah.
I see.
Okay, for any shadow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
or sort of over. Yeah, that's kind of overriding over all of the paths. Yeah, so you
Mhm.
have the return to Valinor and everything. Okay, so let's just looking. Sorry, just looking at the last one again. Yeah, cowardly, path of despair.
Keep that. Most important now, I think, is to pick your calling.
Okay,
If
go
we want
back
to
to
go
that.
forward, you have time to decide for that. You have all the time in the world. You have you have Christmas to go to pick that one. What calling
Yeah,
would you like?
I'm just coming back to those. Page 45. Callings.
So the captain is a leader. Champion protects. Messenger informs. Scholar uncovers secrets. Treasure hunter uncovers artifacts and lost treasures. Wardens, kind of a mix between the champion and the messenger. He protects from the shadow. He's unseen. Warden would be kind of like your typical archetypal ranger,